Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Georgia and today I'm going to be watching episode 17 of Until We Meet Again. The final episode! Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I finally reached the end. Last episode ended on quite the cliffhanger with Pharm. Well, the episode centered around Pharm meeting his side of the family, which was also Korn's side of the family, and he went to the grandfather's house and he didn't actually meet him, which I just realised, like, he hasn't actually seen him yet, and now considering In is in his body I don't know what the reaction is going to be like. But they were in his house and Kritz left him to find the grandmother and he said you can have a look around, and he was looking and he stumbled upon the box filled with Korn's things. They're kind of like mementos they've kept for Korn, and the gun, the very gun that they both shot themselves with, which is so triggering, and it really sparked a reaction out of Pharm, and In just jumped out. Pharm is now in, and In made his way. Oh, and it had the key to the condo in it as well. So Pharm, In made their way to the condo and have let themselves inside, and it still looks exactly the same, and it still has the exact same dark vibe. It looks to me like no one's lived in there since it happened, and I think that the grandfather brought it and has just kept it like that, because it had a note on the door, didn't it? It said like do not enter or something like that. I reckon he's probably bought that room and no one's lived in there since. It's just like always gonna be in Korn's room, I guess. Pharm made his way inside, and then Dean showed up, and Pharm In was threatening to kill themselves. I'm assuming so that Dean Korn can feel the pain that In did when Korn shot himself. It strikes me as though In holds so much anger and resentment towards Korn for what he did, and that grief has never been processed and he's never healed from it, so he wants to inflict that same pain onto Korn and Dean, but it's not fair because it's not his body to do this to. So hopefully they don't go through with it and Dean and Pharm get the happy ending. Ideally everyone would get a happy ending, but I don't really know how In and Korn can have a happy ending. This episode is long as well, like an hour and 15 minutes it says on Viki. I'm accounting like 5 minutes of those will be credits, but an hour and 10 minutes ish, which is half an hour longer than what recent episodes have been. The last few episodes have been like 40-45 minutes, so hopefully there's a lot packed in here and a lot of loose ends wrapped up. I'm predicting there won't be any uni stuff in this episode. Oh, and I'm dressed as a uni student, by the way. I'm wearing my niece's school top, which I am busting out of. I did the top button up before and it was literally choking me, couldn't speak. So yeah, I don't think there'll be any uni stuff in this because of the fact there's Between Us, and I know that Win Team are obviously in that, and Manal and Prak are in that as well, so I'm assuming they just never have a resolution in Until We Meet Again, and that's all in Between Us. But we'll see if I'm right or wrong about that. I just think it'll all be about resolving the In and Korn body takeovers and the family stuff, tying things up with the family. What I am confident on is that Dean and Pharm will end up together. No, but I also think they'll live. I don't think Pharm In will shoot themselves, so it will be truly horrifying if we have a recreation where In Pharm does shoot themselves and then Dean does the same thing. Like, if they go down that route of the whole cycle continuing, I'll be mad, because they've showed how it's affected everyone in the family, even the grandfather. So if it happened again, that whole cycle would just be continued. I want it to be a case of they fix the cycle, so hopefully it's a satisfying ending. Oh, we finally getting to see their funeral in full. Oh god.
อินเขาไปเที่ยวจ้ะลูก ไปไกลมากๆเลยนะ
อินจะได้กินไข่พะโล้กับเราไหมคะแล้วแกงส้มที่แม่ทำไว้ด้วย
Whenever children get brought into stuff with death, that is just the ultimate tear-worthy stuff. Like, how do you explain it? Oh my god, it's an open casket! She just asked where's Uncle in, he's right there in that box. Really does show the consequences your actions can have.
ดีไม่พอหรอกพ่อรักลูกมากเลย
I feel bad, but I'm still so angry. You're saying you love him so much now, but before you couldn't accept who he was. I wonder if they ever kept in touch. It is obviously a really meaningful thing they did, but I can't imagine like touching their bodies like that.
ดาแดงจะนำให้เธอทั้งสองมาพบกันอีกแต่ชาติหน้าลูกจะต้องกลับมาพบกันอีก
I kind of want to hear them take accountability for it though.
พ่อขอฝากน้องเลยนะ
Their siblings hurt the most because they were definitely the closest to them. The fathers both had such different ways of handling that. Like, In's dad was very emotional, very vocal, talking to their dead bodies as if it's going to make a difference, but at least letting how he feels be known, I guess. He did say he doesn't deserve to be In's father. When he said, you two can be together in this life, I wanted him to say, that's my fault. Like, I want to hear them say that they're to blame. Korn's father didn't say a word. He did the thing, he put it on his finger, but he didn't say a word. And I think that's because he knew it was pointless speaking because they're not going to hear it. All the stuff he wants to say, they're not going to hear it, are they? I guess now he could say it to Dean and Pharm and they would hear it. I have a feeling he's done a lot like posthumously. Like, I reckon he's bought the condo and he's obviously kept those mementos, so that grief stays with him, but he never vocalized it. I'm sure he feels all the hurt, disappointment and grief that In's father feels, but he just doesn't speak it, he lives with it. So that defo was close to his death then. He almost did feel like that was a goodbye.
อะไรนะพี่
น้ำตาลปั้น
กินปะถ้าไม่กินอ่ะ ขอดิ
ไม่ได้
Their lives were just never going to be the same again after that happened.
กิฟอย่าแกล้งน้อง
อย่าล้มดิ
This hurts even more now, knowing that he has no brothers left in the present day, and so like they never would have had happy memories like that again.
จงเป็นสิ่งที่อยากเป็น เข้าใจนะ
This show really does sometimes just let the emotions deliver the scene. Like, that actor, all he had to do was just stand there and cry in that scene. But it just gets the point across, doesn't it? Grief doesn't necessarily need words. You just need to cry.
คนโกหกพี่กล้าดียังไงอ่ะพี่กล้าดียังไงถึงฆ่าคนที่ผมรักอ่ะคนโกหกคนโกหกคนสารเลวคนโกหกคนโกหก
I don't actually know how they're gonna get through to him. I guess he's got to try and find a way to bring Pharm out.
ที่ขอโทษครับ
Oh god, the look is so scary.
ผมรู้สึกยังไงตอนนี้ผมพี่ตายต่อหน้าต่อตาสัญญาว่าจะอยู่ด้วยกันนะหายใจไม่ออกโลกทั้งใบถล่มลงมาเป็นชิ้นเล็กชิ้นน้อย
พี่รักเรามาก พ พี่ขอโทษ
You can just see the venom in his eyes.
ทิ้งพี่ไป
อินอย่าทำแบบนี้ อยู่ตรงนี้แล้ว พี่ดินของพามไงกลัวอะไรแล้วนะ
Is this whole episode just gonna be an effort to make us cry? I really hope that if they meet Korn's family, that will be a way for In to find peace. Because I think that Korn meeting Anne gave him peace. So if In meets Korn's family, I think it will be very triggering at first, especially seeing the grandfather. But hopefully it can give him peace and stop Pharm experiencing all this grief, because he's still so tethered and he's been so emotional throughout the whole show. It takes such a toll on your body, all this crying and all these emotions, and they're not really his emotions to feel either. It completely takes over his life. So I really hope that In's able to find peace in this episode. He knew they'd be here.
พ่อ
ก่อน อะไรกันเนี่ยมานี่
ไม่เอาอะไม่เอาอะออกไปนะ ออกไป
Wow.
ไม่อยากเห็นแล้ว
God, me throughout the show. Whenever they flash back to that scene, it's the most horrifying thing. Couldn't imagine having to physically feel the pain of that moment.
พี่กรณ์อย่าพี่กรณ์
And he was there as well.
มีใครแยกพวกเธอสองคนอีกแล้วอินทัสพวกคุณพ่อเสียใจมากรู้ไหมตึกนี้ทั้งตึกคุณพ่อก็ซื้อเอาไว้ให้แล้วต้มแซมส่วนที่เสียหายมาตลอด30 ปีของในกล่องใบนี้คุณพ่อเป็นคนเก็บเองไว้ทุกชิ้น
So did you know there was a loaded gun in that box? As a police detective, you should know better.
มองของนี้แล้วพ่อร้องไห้เกือบทุกวันเลยพี่
ที่ทำให้ทุกคนต้องเสียใจแบบนี้ พ่อ
I really don't think either of them should be apologising to their parents.
เรายังติดต่อกับที่บ้านของอินทัศน์จนถึงวันที่พ่อของอินป่วยหนักและกำลังจะจากไปว่าจะเป็นเรื่องครอบครัวหรือคอนโดห้องนี้
Oh my god, I remember now. They said that Palm's uncle was renting out for his son, but he had 2 in the building or something, and that's why Palm was able to live there. So it was him that had it all. Oh.
มันก็โกรธพ่อจนไม่ยอมยกโทษให้ แม้แต่วันที่มันป่วยจนใกล้จะตาย มันยังไม่ยอมเจอหน้าพ่อเลยสักนิด
พี่เสียใจ เป็นเพราะพี่
No, it's because he drove you to it.
รักพ่อ แม่ พี่ขอโทษนะอินพี่ขอโทษ
That's the I'm sorry you should be saying. Do they have any idea what's going on? Like, were they warned before they stepped foot in this room?
อินทัศน์เคยคิดว่าตัวเองเข้มแข็ง
Palm's back. Is this now?
อินรับพี่ก่อนนะ อินให้อภัยพี่แล้ว
I love the fact that they're finally able to share a moment in front of their family. Oh my god, what is happening now? Is the granddad about to die, or is this a flashback to Guard's death? First of all, have to praise Fluke's acting. The switching from Dean to Pharm, the pure like grief, the pure fear at seeing Korn's father get wheeled into that room. So accurate at how you would expect someone to react to seeing him. It truly feels like he did live that trauma with the way that he portrays it. Brit's speech, amazing. explaining truly what they all went through and how no one ever got over it. No one got away unscathed. I do think it's a bit... it's a bit unnecessary for them to apologise. In deserved an apology from Korn. That's for sure. I don't know about his dad deserving an apology because his dad brought it on himself. And In said sorry to his dad as well, but I think like that's because his dad died and he's never going to get a chance to see him again. Korn saying I'm sorry to his dad. He is the one that drove him to it. He was insufferable. Like, sure, he feels all this pain after, but he was the one that drove him to that suicide. And Korn shouldn't say sorry for getting pushed to the limit. But I would have hoped that he would have said something in that moment. Said a word. It was Crit that did all the speaking. And he's obviously got something wrong with him as he's in that wheelchair, but I don't know whether that affects his speaking abilities. But that moment within a Korn... They finally got to meet each other again. I mean, I feel like they have had moments like that interspersed throughout the show where they have been able to talk to each other, but actually seeing them as themselves, speaking to each other, hit different. Oh, it is the grandfather then, if Sin's there like that. So in a way, it's like he got closure as well then, really, isn't it? And now they're gonna be at his bedside.
ฝากดูแลน้องให้ดีด้วยนะ ผมสัญญา
I wanted a sorry. I'm sorry, it's a very emotional moment and all. And it's sweet that you said that, but like, I wanted him to say sorry. His actions showed that he was sorry, but I wanted him to say it. Dean, what the heck are you doing? This is a nightmare, right? Why does he look so stern like that?
พวกเราเป็นอิสระกันแล้วนี่
Oh.
ไม่จำเป็นต้องรักกันต่อ
No. This is a nightmare. He wouldn't say that after just promising.
เรารักกันจริงๆไม่ใช่เหรอ
Well, I guess it was Korn that
ไม่
said
ใช่เพราะว่า
it.
ได้แดง
Oh.
พวกเรารักกันเพราะได้แดงนี้ต่างหาก
No! I'm so annoyed, confused all at the same time right now. Thank God! Jesus!
ความรักของเราคือเรื่องจริงใช่ไหมพี่ดิน
Don't tell me you're gonna question it now, Pharm. I would wreck Dean.
ลูกชูบ
Look, Shoop! Oh.
นี่น่ากินเลยหัวยังใหญ่เพื่อนผมหมดแล้วเนี่ย
ขอกินด้วย เอ้ยโอ้ยอันนี้นะ
Your hair makes it
Happy
dirty.
อุ้ยกระเป๋าตัว
Do you know, it's actually so funny to me that we never saw Alex again after Dean was like, me and Palmer together. Nothing else from him. He truly gave up because Dean said they were together. It feels different, and I don't like it. It feels more awkward. Palm's definitely questioning it, isn't he? Come on, Palm, no! I'm kind of nervous now. Better than expected. What the hell, Palm making the first move?
คำว่าเราห่างกันสักพักเถอะครับ
That's what I was worried about.
เราจะห่างกันเพื่ออะไรอะครับ
ทบทวนว่ารักของเราคือเรื่องจริง
So it's okay when we met just to be apart. I can understand questioning it because their emotions have been so tethered to In and Korn. It does pose the question of do we only love each other because of this? So what, you want to be apart and not see each other to see if you miss each other? I guess? Like, is that what they're getting at here? They gotta be apart, and if they miss each other, then they'll get back together. Why do BLs do this? This is becoming a pattern now. Halfway through the final episode, or at least at some point in the final episode, they're just apart. And it's like, why? Never let me go. This. Bad Buddy. Bad Buddy was fake, but still, for half the final episode, they were apart. Vice versa, maybe. I do get confused between Vice versa episodes 11 and 12. I'll stick it on the list. Like, it's a thing they seem to want to do right at the end of a show. Just have them apart for a bit. And I don't get why. I'll give Until We Meet Again this. It makes the most sense in Dean and Pharm's case to have this. But it's like they've endured so much. They've just gone through something so heavy and traumatic. Now they're going to be apart. That proves you love him. You don't want to do this. 3 months. Were they apart for 3 months? Team is so filled with compliments for Manal, isn't he? Oh. You might want to contour that in a bit. His farm looks happy. It is also nice to see a scene of the friendship group without them talking about Dean. Because they did talk about the relationship a lot. And I like it when you can have friendship scenes just for the sake of being a friendship rather than always talking about their partners. But now, what even is she as a person? Like, she's so funny because she's just so random. I have a feeling Dean isn't going to be as happy. You expect him to smile back, Pharm?
เรื่อยเดี๋ยวนี้เฮ้ยมะนาวหนังเราได้รางวัลแล้ว
Oh wow!
จริงเหรอจริงด้วยนะมะนาว
Film competition, what does that mean? Does she get to star in a film?
ผมกับพี่ดีนไม่เคยเลิกกันนะครับ
Oh. Oh my god, they freaking bad buddied him!
อาทิตย์หน้าเราจะทำขนมอะไร
Don't just move on from that. I need explanations. Never forget. Oh no.
ขนมอะไรดีอะไรฮะ
Loom
ผมจะทำลืมกลืนนะครับ
Yes. They're never gonna let In and Korn's memory die either.
ครับพี่ครับเอาลูกแก้วกลางนี่ครับหวาน
So are they like together
ใส่
now?
วิปครีม
Are they probably
ชื่อ
be
ทีมครับ
together?
เฮียชอบกินอะไรอีกหรือเปล่าถ้ากาแฟก็กินได้หมด
Wow, he's making an effort to get him stuff.
เดี๋ยวทำไมอ่ะ
เดี๋ยวผมกับพี่อเล็กซ์แล้ว
ฮะตั้งแต่เมื่อไหร่เนี่ย
Oh, what?
อย่างนี้ชมรมเราจะมีเลี้ยงฉลอง
That is horrific news. Why? Why would they do that? I loved so much that Dell was the one that stood up to Alex and just hated the way that he treated Pharm and called him out on his shit. For her to then go out with it. Oh, do you know what this reminds me of? I won't spoil for people that haven't seen the show because if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's a Norwegian show called Scum. And it reminds me of a certain couple from that. If you've seen it, you might know. The season 2 couple. I hated the way that they got together because I liked their characters for that reason as well. And they ended up going out. And I'm just like, why? It was so good that she was the one. Oh, I'm talking more about that now. But it was so good that like, well, I guess it does kind of fit. It was so good that she was the one that didn't fancy him because all the girls would fawn over Alex. Like there was that scene when, like in episode 1, oh, the triggering but now awkward scene when he was like signing autographs. Oh no, I think he was signing people up for the drama club. Everyone was like so excited to meet him. They were all like, ah, yeah. Everyone was squealing because they wanted to meet him. So he had so many people after him, but Dell was the one that didn't like see it. She was the one that was like just, ugh, the way he treats Pharm is disgusting. And she publicly embarrassed him multiple times, which was so good. She was the only girl that wasn't chasing after him. And then they end up together. I really dislike that trope. And we're probably not even going to get to see them together. So it's going to be a pointless thing that they've added in, and it's just made me fuming. Dell, no, you could do so much better.
เราจะไปเค้นคอถามเดียวมา
Yeah, give her an intervention, please.
พี่ที่ชมรมฝากมาบอกขอบคุณนะ
Seniors.
พี่ได้กินแล้ว ขอบคุณนะ
Anytime Manal is alone, you know what it means. Come on, Proc. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?
อิจฉาคนมีคู่ไว้
Don't you worry. Come on, where is he? Oh.
ที่ไหนล่ะ ที่ให้มะนาวยินดีด้วยที่หนังได้รางวัล
He knows about her film.
ว่า
พี่ได้ดูหนังแล้วนะ
Jesus, he's a massive fan.
มะนาวเก่งมาก
Got it a bit strong with the hair stroke.
ปล่อยดิ ปล่อย เอ้า
Jesus.
งั้นจะรออะไรล่ะ ก็ไปกันดิ
This was exactly as crackhead as I would have expected it to be. When is he gonna stop crying?
อยากกินไอติมอ่ะ ขอบคุณนะอ่ะพี่กรณ์เราไปกันเถอะ
So calm. Inner Korn got a happy ending. Okay, thank God we are finally getting to see them interact.
ผมคิดถึงพี่ดีนพี่ก็คิดถึงพามเขาขอโทษที่ต้องให้พี่รอ
Wait, did they actually not? I'm confused now. They actually not see each other for 3 months. But he said they never broke up.
พี่ฝันด้วยแหละพาม
Did you have the same dream?
ฝันเห็นกรกับอินทัศน์พวกเขามีความสุขมากแล้วพาม
มีความสุขมาก
They're finally happy. Was that why they had to be apart for an encounter to find each other again? I'm a bit confused. Now that they know that In and Korn are happy, it means they're not going to interfere with them now, right? They're not going to have them overtake them again, so now they can be happy just as Dean and Pharm rather than having In and Korn completely overtake them again. Were they waiting to have a dream? So many questions, so little time.
ๆ มั่นใจแล้วว่ารักของเราคือเรื่องจริง
Oh, thank the Lord for that!
ผมคิดถึงพี่
พามเป็นคนขอห่างพี่เองนะ
You're never gonna live that
สั
down.
บสนน่ะ
I've been confused for the last half an hour.
เปลี่ยนนามสกุลแล้วนะ
เปลี่ยน
What?
นามสกุล เปลี่ยนทำไมอะครับ แล้วเปลี่ยนไปเป็นอะไร
Hang on. Where's the family tree? Where's the family tree? It should be here somewhere. If he says Trivanage.
พี่ไม่ใช่รัฐนนท์วงเนตรอีกต่อไปแล้ว แต่เป็นรัฐนนท์ฉัตรโพคิน
That's insane. What?
นามสกุล อินทัศน์
ใช่
อ๋อพี่
He's still trying to rectify Korn's mistakes. ฝันที่กลายเป็นจริง
ขอบคุณนะครับ แหวน
Huh? Oh my god. Is he enacting his 5-year plan now? Oh!
ประจำตระกูลฉัตรโพคินเป็นคนโตของบ้านนั้น ดูไม่ค่อยลงทุนเท่าไหร่ แต่นี่คือสิ่งสำคัญ และมีค่าที่สุดในตอนนี้เท่าที่พี่มี
That is so much effort. I can't even think of how you would have obtained that. They are always gonna be with them. I was worried with Pharm wanting to be apart, that he wanted to forget about In and Korn, but they are keeping them in their lives however they can. I love that they're playing In and Korn's song over the final scene as well. Ah, I love that scene! Oh, I'm genuinely so surprised that everyone got a happy ending. Like, I wasn't expecting In and Korn to get one. Before going into the episode, I wasn't really expecting to see In and Korn again. Like, maybe via flashbacks, but certainly not in some kind of present form. But I'm so happy they did that because it really does show that all that Dean and Pharm went through, all the trauma that Pharm specifically had to experience was worth it, because In and Korn finally got to be together in the end. They finally met each other again. They finally were able to be happy together in whatever form they are. Whether it be spirit, ghosts, I don't really know what they are supposed to be, but we know that their souls have reconnected and that they are going to continue being themselves. Like, I mean, that final conversation with them, they were bickering as they always did over stupid minor stuff, but we wouldn't have it any other way. The acting was very good in this episode, even from the side characters. Like, past Crit and present Crit did really well. Like, present Crit with his monologue and the like tears in his eyes watching Dean and Pharm was really hard hitting, and then also the scene of young Crit finding the bit of candy and just bawling over that. Like, when you find something that triggers a memory, it just brings you into a catastrophic state, and he portrayed that so well, just pure crying. And as I said in that scene, the show does rely a lot on the acting, I feel like, because I've said this many times throughout the show, there's so many scenes where there's just no dialogue, where they're just doing things. But in this episode specifically, because it was so emotional and they just had to cry a lot, like there was a lot of silences, so they just had to cry, it puts a lot of pressure on the actor to really be able to deliver it authentically. And I thought that both Fluke and the actor that plays Crit did that very well. Like, the actor that plays Crit literally just had to stand there and cry, and that must be like so vulnerable, I feel like, even as an actor, and he nailed it. Now, I am confused, and I'm assuming this is a me problem, as it often is, but I'm confused about the 3-month separation thing. Obviously, I get now that they were actually separated, but why did Pharm say they never broke up? That made me think they were still together. And now thinking about the scenes that followed, they were more emotional than I thought they were. Like, Dean giving him a note that says never forget is way more emotional now, knowing that they were broken up. Like, I was thinking, why is Pharm crying so much at that if they're still together? But they weren't together. And he was saying thank you for the desserts. Like, Dean was giving out these olive branches, them being a broken up couple, and then they met. They both found each other at the same time at the condo. They were both wanting to see each other in that moment. Like, all of that just is different now, knowing they were actually broken up, and I really thought that they hadn't been. So it rings true again then. Now, they had a separation period in the final episode, and I'm not loving this trope that a lot of these BLs seem to have. Why? Right in the final hurdle, why have them separated? I would have thought it would take less than 3 months for him to realise that his love for Dean was real. Come on. Fuming about Del and Alex. Screaming at Manal and Prague. Win and Team had a cute scene, Team making more of an effort with Win, and Pharm trying to tease Team but it not being quite so successful. Like, he was itching to tell Manal, and I mean, how many times has Team dropped a minute with Manal? Like, she rocks up and then he's like, hey, did you hear about what happened between Dean and Pharm? And then Manal's just screaming. I would have loved for Pharm to get his own back on Team in that moment. It is nice then, as Dean and Pharm were separated, that Team and Manal didn't start talking about him in the scenes we had with them after. Like, they didn't bring Dean up, whereas before it was like every scene Dean would be brought up in some way, even before they were together. So it's nice that we got some genuine friendship scenes between them. I'm happy with how it ended. That ending scene was really beautiful. The way they're incorporating In and Korn into their lives and really keeping them with them, they're never forgetting. Because when Pharm announced that he thinks they should not see each other for a while, I thought, because he wants to kind of like separate himself from In and Korn, which I guess he kind of does, he wants to separate the feelings and realise that his feelings for Dean are because he loves Dean, not because of In's feelings for Korn. But I thought, like, oh my god, Pharm just doesn't want any more connection to In and Korn, does he? But he clearly does, because Dean is just incorporated everywhere. Like, he's changed his last name, that's so beautiful, and he's got In's ring and given it to Pharm. Like, he's really keeping them with them, and Pharm seemed to love that, and I'm so thankful, because I don't want them to ever forget them. I don't want them to move on from what brought them together. Like, without In and Korn, they wouldn't be here, would they? And it works both ways. Like, without Dean and Pharm, In and Korn wouldn't be where they are. So I really loved that whole aspect, but this does get added to the list. There's no final episode where I thought that was perfect. Like, with any of the BLs I've watched, none of them have stuck the final episode for me. I'm happy with the ending, don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoyed the episode, but I'm not sat here thinking that was a perfect episode. Because there's definitely things I wanted. Like, I wanted Korn's dad to stay. Sorry. I won't shut up. I wanted it. And I know he's not the type of man to voice his feelings. And he literally said one line in the whole entire episode. Even in the flashbacks, he didn't say anything. But I wanted him to apologise. And he didn't. He said, please take care of him. And of course Dean is going to do that. And of course Korn is going to do that wherever they are. But it's like, who are you to ask him to take care of him? You can tell I'm not as forgiving as everyone else in the show. Because, like, he's saying to his son to take care of In/Pharm, whoever he was talking to. You're the ones that caused them to kill themselves. Like, yeah. Anyway, I can tell he grieved. But I wanted him to prove it with his words. Editor Georgia here. I now kind of perceive it as like he was giving his consent in a way. He was saying please take care of him to, I believe it was Korn in that moment, and it was kind of giving Korn the support that he never got when he was alive, which would have been nice for Korn, I guess, but it still makes me angry. Because who are you to be given the consent now? They have the freedom to do whatever they want in its afterlife. It's a nice closure moment, don't get me wrong. But that was his one line of the episode. And it was essentially him telling his son to do something. And it doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't. He should have apologised, not tell him to do something. He barked orders at him his whole life. I'm triggered. Don't hate me. Even if it was short, I wanted to see Dean have a conversation with Pharm's family. So yeah, not a perfect ending, but no show has had a perfect ending. But they all have happy endings. Thankfully, I've not had a show where there's been an open ending. My god, those are the worst. That's an instant 1 out of 10. The first half was better than the second half, but the final scene was incredible. The final 10-15 minutes, like from when Pharm woke up and saw In and Korn, and then I guess realised that he wanted Dean back. And them having the same dream. Oh, that whole bit was perfect. I guess it's the break stuff. The break stuff was the worst part of the episode. And then I thought it wasn't a break. Oh my god, I got baited. I am gonna miss these characters. I would say if I had to choose my favourite couple out of the 3, In and Korn were my faves. And I don't know what that's like for an opinion. I'm gonna assume that's an unpopular opinion because a lot of people love Win Team. And everyone must love Dean and Pharm. Like, if you don't love Dean and Pharm, who even are you? But I think In and Korn were the ones that stole my heart. Every time we flash back to them, I was so excited to see their moments, but they hurt. I think seeing them at the end is what made me the most emotional out of all of it. So I think I'd say In and Korn were my faves, then obviously Dean and Pharm, and then Win and Dean. You know what, Manal Proc would be above Win and Team. I'm sorry. I just didn't have that connection. So obviously I won't be watching Between Us. I'll say it again here. I won't be watching Between Us, at least not in the near future. Like I will never say never, but I'm not planning to watch it anytime soon. I will miss Manal. I will miss Dean and Pharm. I will miss In and Korn. I can't say I'll miss Win and Team though. I'll miss Del. I miss not having Del in this episode. I love Del as a side character. Like, she's one of my faves. And the fact that she's ending up with Alex severely pisses me off. But she chose this for herself. I'm sad we never got to see her. Like, what even was her last scene? When was the last time we saw her? It feels like it's been quite a long time. Love Del. Sad she wasn't in the app. Sad that she's now committed to a life with Alex. I am going to miss these characters, and I guess if I ever want to see them again, the option of Between Us will always be there for me. This has been the longest show. I think it could have been shorter. Didn't need 17 episodes. There was a lot of filler in there. I don't even think they had to erase a whole episode. I think if they'd made certain scenes shorter, like I've said before, there was so many times in the show where they were just doing things like walking with no dialogue, looking in a library for books with no dialogue, with just a dun 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 in the background. Like, some of those scenes weren't needed. They could have condensed the show down to like 15 episodes or something, just trimming those down, I'd say. But in a way I did like those because it felt more real, like, you know, just plodding about life, looking at books, walking along the street. But for a show, I don't think it's necessary to have long stretches of time with characters just doing nothing. So I think it could have been shorter, that's for sure. I can see why everyone loves it. It certainly was a unique concept. Like, the plot was so good. The plot was so interesting and so intricate, and they did round it full circle as I'd hoped, with Dean and Pharm having a happy ending and not killing themselves. But In and Korn forgave their families. Dean and Pharm were able to live a happy life. The families all support them in their decision, and they support In and Korn as well, so In and Korn are also able to live a happy life. I just love the way that, like, In and Korn brought Dean and Pharm together, and Dean and Pharm have brought In and Korn together as well. I think that's really, really beautiful. It was very emotional as well. That's for today, guys. Thanks for watching my reaction to episode 17, and until we meet again, if you want to watch my uncut reactions to Until We Meet Again, the link to the Patreon page will be in the description below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
I like 'em sweet but naughty, pimples on the cheeks. I bet you taste like berries.